I'm gonna do my best to go through this fairly quickly because it's 23 books. Hello and welcome to my channel, The Danish Readaholic. My name is Luca and today I will be going through 23 books that I want to read in 2023. So I think we all know the purpose of this video, so I think I will just get on with it because, yes, we do have 23 books, so I'm trying to be brief as to why I've picked the books. I will not be doing summaries because we will be here for hours and I don't want to do that on the 23rd. Anyways, let's get started with book number 1. This is Romanov by Nadine Brandis. I have been wanting to read this for so long. It's been on my TBR a million times and I just haven't gotten to it. The last time I actually did start it, but that was September and a bunch of things happened in September and I lost focus. So I actually don't know what happened. I don't remember what happened. So this is definitely on the list of books that I want to get to in 2023. This, I believe, is like an Anastasia retelling thing. And I don't know more than that, and I don't need to know more than that because I am hooked just by that in itself. Next up, we have Rhapsodic by Thalassa. I don't know much about this, to be completely honest. I've never read the back. I've heard people talking about it, and I think it's supposed to be a little bit spicy, but I'm not sure. And I've seen character art from this, and that was actually the thing that made me go, okay, maybe I should try and read this book. But I've had it for quite a while now, so I need to figure out if this is actually a series that I want to get into or if it's just, you know, not for me. So that is why it is on the list of books that I need to get to. It will actually be kind of fun if I next year do like a reaction to this and then see if I've actually read all of the books that I said I wanted to. I'm gonna do my best to actually try and do it. Next up, I have The Shameless Daughter by Lene Capable. This is a Danish book and very popular Danish YA, and I've never read it, and I have the entirety of the series in these like beautiful bind-ups. I feel like I should have read these already, and I'm excited to see what it's actually about. When I was younger, I was very much the type of person who was like, okay, no, I'm not going to read that because everyone is reading it and loving it, so I don't want any part of that. Which doesn't make sense, but that was how I was. And this was one of the series that suffered for it because I've never had any interest in it, and now I do because I want to know what all the hype was about. So here we are, and I'm very intrigued by this book series in itself. Then we have The Iron King by Julie Kagawa. I don't know what possessed me to buy this series in the Fairy Loot editions because I've never heard of it. It sounded like it was something for me, but I just haven't started it yet. As you can see, right here, I have the entirety of it. So I really should get on with it and get into this and see if I actually do like it. If I don't, a shame. Maybe I can sell it, but we'll see. This is another book that's been on my TBR many times, and maybe this is just, I mean, I just should get to it soon. So if you read it, tell me some things about it that will make me like it. Also, I just want to say that there is no sequels on this list because I'm gonna try and prioritize once again, as I say every single year, but I'm gonna obviously try and continue some series, so I don't want to fill up spots on this list for sequels because they're kind of like, you know, I'm gonna read them, or try and read them anyways. Next up we have The Daughter of Sparta by Claire M. Andrews. I believe that the sequel to this is coming out soon, so I would very much like to actually read this and see if I want to get the sequel. And that is basically the reason why it's on here. I'm really excited about this, and I don't remember like exactly what it is, but I just know that like we have a badass main character that I'm excited to see. So it is on the list. It had to be on the list. Then we have Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. Why? I don't know. Well, I do, because obviously I want to read it, and this is one of the most recent additions to my shelf. But I actually do kind of want to dive into her backlist, maybe even before going into Realmbreaker. And I can't really tell you why, but I don't know. I also feel like there's something about this series that really speaks to me. And from what I remembering about this series, it just sounded like it would be right up my alley, so it would be such a shame not to give it a try, and I'm definitely wanting to do that next year. Now this one is a little bit tricky because I've said it multiple times that I want to continue or want to finish another series before going into this, so this is actually putting 3 books on this list, but because I don't add sequels, you get the gist, right? So this is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, and the series that I want to finish is obviously Caraval. So hopefully I will get to finish Caraval as soon as possible next year and then go into this book, because it seems so interesting, and also I really like Caraval, so... And I'm excited to see where they take that series, because I can't predict that. I am so sorry for going through these like so fast, but I mean, there's so many books, and it's just, you know, to let you know what I try and prioritize for next year. We have These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. This is just a book that I'm super excited about. This is a book that I think will be a 5-star for me, and I don't know why it's taking me so long to get to it. I really should have read it already, but here we are, and yes, hopefully I'll get to it next year. I believe that this is very much enemies to lovers, but to be completely honest, I don't remember much about any of these books, because as soon as I read the blurb, I forget it again, and then it's just like, oh, I remember liking the premise of this book, and then I tend to go into them semi-blind, and I like to do that. Next up we have Daughter of the Pirate King by Tricia Levenseller. I really enjoyed the Blade of Secrets that I read by Tricia Levenseller, so I'm excited to go into more of her books. This one, was it a gift or was it something that I bought myself? I think I bought it myself, but my best friend Caitlin has recommended this so many times because she absolutely loves it and all the pirate vibes and everything. So I'm really, really excited for this. I don't think I've read like a proper piratey story. Well, obviously I've read Fable, which has pirates, but aside from that, I don't think I've really explored that trope or genre, or what you would call it. I am really, really excited to, and I think I will like it once I get like properly introduced to it. So this is definitely on the list. Next up we have Blood Cyan by Deborah Falley. This is another book that I don't know anything about. This is the Beautiful Fairy Loot edition, and I really, really love it. I know that it is based on some type of mythology, but I don't remember what. And it's also about someone who is, well, let me just read this to you because I love it. This is what they deserve. They wanted me to be a monster. I will be the worst monster they ever created. And that in itself is just enough to make me want to go, yes, I'll read it immediately. Because I like the whole, they turned me into this monster. And like, you wanted me to be like this. Now suffer the consequences because it's your damn fault. And I just love that. It gives me serious Katsa vibes because that is what she did. Like, she was turned into a weapon, and then in the end she ended on turning on the person that made her into a weapon. That's not a spoiler because it's very, very early on in the story, so it's not a spoiler and it's not really important for the story, but like that part of it, I just love it. So I'm hoping to see a lot of that in this book as well. So I should have read this already. I know. I think that 2023 is going to be the year that I'm going to tackle the Hunger Games series, and I really, really want to. I'm thinking of doing like maybe a video where I'll read the books, watch the movies all in one. So if that would be something you would be interested in seeing, please let me know. The Hunger Games, Susan Collins, I think we all know what it is. I just really need to get on with it. Also, isn't it next year that the new Hunger Games movie comes out? That would be cool to like make it fit with that. Let me know if you want to see like that. Kind of following along with that, I want to read The Darkest Minds. I really liked the movie. I liked the premise and the idea behind it. Really, really sad that they're not going to continue with the movie, but it is what it is. I understand why. But I do want to see what happens with the characters, so I am going to dive into this, and hopefully I like it so I can move on to the next book. Next up, we have Below by Alexandria Warwick. This is a story I think that takes place maybe not exactly on Greenland, but on an island or in a world, in a place that is similar to Greenland, and it's lore and, you know, that type of thing. So I'm really intrigued by this because it's not really a setting that I see that often. I mean, obviously we see polar fantasies, but this is more also about the folklore and everything, if I have understood correctly. So I'm very intrigued by this to see what they've done with it. I also know that there is like the whole thing that they're trying to defeat is like a face stealer, so it steals like your face, your eyebrows, eyes, nose, mouth, but leaves your head, so it's only your face. And I feel like that's very interesting, and I want to know why and how. So yes, also it's short, so I really should have gone through it already. I'm really excited about this one, and I don't see many people talking about it, so I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, or if people even know about it, but I'm excited. And yes, next up we have The Ones We Burn by Rebecca Mix. This was the most recent fairy loot that I've gotten, and I need to put it on this list. I am beyond excited about this. I can't really tell you what it's about because I don't remember, and the blurb is, I turn it around, so I can't really, I mean, there's nothing on it, but I do believe that it has something to do with witches, obviously, because it was in the witchy box. I know that she needs to make an alliance with another princess, and I have a feeling that it's going to be LGBTQ+, but I'm not sure. I haven't actually looked it up, but that could just be super cool, because I mean, I do read a lot of fantasy, but it's not the most common thing I find in the fantasies that I own. So I also kind of want to go into that a little bit more next year, I think. Trying to be a little bit more diverse. That is a book that I'm super excited about. It is a little bit big, so we'll see. It might be one of those books that I'm a little bit intimidated by, but we'll eventually get through. Sticking with the fairy loots for a little while, we also have The Darkening by Sonia Mara. I believe, oh my god, it would be such a shame if I mistook this for another one, but I believe that this is about a city that's kind of trapped in a magical storm, and then stuff happens. But I don't know more than that. I just know the whole stuck in a magical storm. What does it say on the back? A fierce revolutionary, a desperate prince, together they will face the storm and be swept away. I like this whole, I don't want to say that it's a new thing, but I feel like it's been more common this year than it was last year with all the new books, but where it's like the female rebellion or the female warrior or something has to protect the cowardly prince or the shy prince, or it's more kind of like a switched dynamic, and I really, really like that. And I want to see more of that, but I also want some of the more classical fantasies. I don't want that to disappear completely. But I do like this format where the female is the badass, and I've always liked that. Next up we have Era Awakens by Elise Kova. This is my first Elise Kova book, and I really want to get into that and see if it's an author that I like. Also, this series is fairly long, so if it's a series that I do like and do want to continue with, I want to start as soon as possible, and we're going to do that with Era Awakens, and we're hopefully going to be doing that next year. I did already start it once, and I don't remember why I stopped. I think I was distracted or didn't feel like it at that given point, so I'm definitely going to give it another go. I need to get on with this book. Next up, I have Violet Made of Thorns by Gina Chen. I'm really intrigued by this one because the main character is kind of like morally gray, or at least that's what she's introduced to be, because she makes up lies at the court where she is, and the only one that kind of sees through her is this prince, and you just know that there's going to be enemies to lovers in this, and I'm just beyond excited about it. It's also fairly short compared to some of the other fairy loots that I have, and I'm just so excited to see where they go with this. And also, another thing that I really like is that because that it is mentioned that she lies and she tells these, like, let's call it white lies, and makes up stories and everything, it must have some sort of importance to the entirety of the story that this is one of her character traits, and I'm excited to see why it's important and what it does to her. So I'm excited to see where it goes. Next up, I have The Bride and the Pale by Jessica Rubenkovsky. I have actually started this book and it was really interesting, but I had listened to it as an audiobook, and the thing that I had picked to do while listening to it was distracting, so I didn't actually finish it. And I don't remember what happened, so I needed to start over anyways. So I think I'm actually going to try and do this in the beginning of next year because I'm really excited about it. I do have the sequel, and I just kind of want to see what it's about. It sounds interesting, and I'm excited. This is, as you can see, a polar fantasy, and it follows an assassin, if I remember correctly. There's a lot of things going on, and I'm excited to actually see where it goes, because I remember ending it at a really, really annoying place where I was like, maybe I should continue, but I hadn't understood anything that had happened, so I needed to stop it and then start over when I felt like it. Going from one type of fantasy to another, we have the Stardust Thief. This is a desert fantasy instead of a polar fantasy. This is by Chelsea Abdullah, and I am beyond excited about this. It gives me serious Aladdin vibes, and I don't remember why, but I just remember that I read about it and was like, okay, Aladdin. It basically follows a girl who has a djinn, and then there is also a prince. So I feel like it is Aladdin, but with the genders switched. And I'm excited to see where it goes. I feel like it's going to be action-packed and full of adventure, and I am just so ready for that. I also believe that it's a standalone, so it would be nice to, you know, have some completed stories. So we have The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axio. This is also a story that I started and actually did find really interesting, but once again I was distracted because I read it when I was on a cruise, and we maybe just shouldn't have read anything on that cruise. Maybe have stuck to audiobooks or something, because both of us were so distracted by everything that was happening around us, and it was kind of cold, so we couldn't really read outside, but there weren't really any proper places to read inside. The struggle was real. I'm still really excited about it because I really like the premise, and it was just straight on into the action, if you ask me. It's also a fairly short book, so I mean, I'm super excited, and I need to get to it. Next up, we have Odin's Child by C.A. Peterson. This is a book that I really want to try and prioritize. It is hella big, so it's gonna take me a while, but it is a book that I want to prioritize because this is a series that has been out for a while but has just recently been translated, and I know that she has just continued with like a spin-off, and I kind of really want to get to that, but obviously I need to read this first. That is basically why it's on here. Also, it is Norse mythology, which I really, really love, so I'm just super excited about this book, and I just need to get to it, like, today. Well, not today, I don't have the time for that, but soon. Next up we have The Diabolic by S.J. Kincaid. I've had this forever, and I have just not gotten to it. I really want to see if this is a book series that I like and want to continue. I have the entirety of it, so hopefully I will. We'll never know. I just feel like I remember buying this because it felt like it was kind of similar to Graceling in a sense. I might be completely wrong, but the premise of it seemed similar, but also very different, and I just kind of wanted the same vibes in sense of character and the way the character is built up, and I feel like the main character in this has a similar vibe to Katza, and that was all I wanted. So I'm really excited to actually read this book and see if I was correct on that, or if I am completely mistaken, which I might be. Final book, and then I need to clean my room. Yay! We have The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. This is a book that I got from my best friend, and this is definitely not a book that I would have picked out myself. I've heard of it and thought it was interesting, but I wasn't sure if it was something for me, so I didn't really want to, you know, pick it up. But now I have it, and now I definitely want to get to it. I don't want to read what it's about, because I think I know, but I also, I'm unsure. But I don't want to read what it's about. I just want to go into it completely blind and see where it goes. That's it. Oh my god, that took me so long, and my throat is hurting. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Please let me know down in the comments your top 5 books on your shelves that you want to read next year. I am going to be doing a separate video about the 2023 releases that I'm excited for, but that will have to wait a little bit because I need to do some more preparations for that, because there is a shit ton of books on that list. But let me know which books on your shelf, like a top 5 on your shelf, that you need to read next year. If you just want to let me know that you're here but don't know what to comment, you can always leave a green heart. If you like this video, please hit the like icon, and if you want to see more of my bookish content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It will mean the world to me. And until I see you next time, bye!